Hello, everybody. So today in this video, I'm going to show you how I was able to save myself several hours a day and actually be able to focus on my work. So this is all done using Hermes. Um, you know, I used to spend so much time navigating around my emails because I have like different services working, and then I have different repos that I'm looking into that I'm interested in, my emails, meetings, whatever. So I would spend so much time on it and I would get distracted easily, like dragged from one email to another. And then I end up doing things that I didn't plan to do that day. And then not focusing on the things that I wanted to accomplish for that day. But that changed using Hermes. I'm going to show you how I was able to do it. And this is just a quick sample on what. So for today, for example, this is the briefing that I've got. So it just looked into my emails, and then it summarized the whole thing for me. It checked my calendar, and above all, like it also is able to manage what's the GitHub. Just keep an eye on the PRs and GitHubs that I'm interested in, the repos basically. And that way, here's an example of like, this is an example of what my email would look like. Like, I got so many notifications that it gets really annoying, but that's changed using Hermes. Like, I'll just get like a quick summary like this. This is another example of what I'm using it for. Like, it gets me like the daily workout for me and my meals, the recipes. I don't have to waste time on that anymore. Anyways, so that's I'm going to show you how I was able to get this done. And of course, like I get these messages here in Signal, and I also get them in Discord. Of course, you can. I also am able to get them in my personal email and Telegram and all the like. I'll show you these later, but we'll start slowly for now. Yeah. I don't want to overwhelm you with the information that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to make it simple and show you what's really important first. Now, of course, this is Signal setup. Signal is able to communicate with Hermes and do what I say. For example, I'm going to ask it, "How are you?" and it will reply back to me. As you can see, I'm doing well, thank you, blah, blah, blah. So Signal is all set up. I'm using Signal on my phone, Discord, and I'm able to communicate with Hermes from anywhere. So let's dive right in. As you can see, yeah, I showed you, I need to show you something like I call it the briefing context. So if you take a look at it, this basically is my goal. So when it goes through my email, it keeps this in mind. So yeah. Okay, let's jump right in. So we've seen how Signal is able to communicate with Hermes, and in the last couple of videos, we actually seen how to set up Hermes and set up the LLM model. The LLM model plays a major role, and I'll be doing another video on the free tier if you want to give it a test run. But generally, the free tier will not get you anywhere far. You'll have to use something solid, like something that's able to understand your skills. Okay. All right. Now, to get something similar to mine done, first of all, you need to work with Google Workspace. You need to enable the APIs. Um, okay. So in order to enable the APIs from Google Cloud Console, we'll go to APIs and services. Now, why this is important? Because Hermes reads your Gmail and calendar, and even sheets and slides, whatever, using the Google's official auth or auth flow. So it's just 6 steps. If you know, I mean, the whole thing takes a few minutes. Okay. All right. Let's jump right in. So navigate to Google Cloud Console, console.cloud.google.com, and then head on to APIs and services. And then if you look at down here, you can see you can filter through. We just need Gmail API and Google Calendar API. And then if you click on it, you will be able to see enable API. So just click on it and do the same for Google Calendar and any other services you would like to enable for this one. Let me go back. Another note that I need to tell you. This is, I created a new project. I named it Hermes. You can create a new project for you, or you can use an existing project that you currently have, maybe working for another project. So you can use the existing one, or you can just create a new one. The next step would be to create a desktop or auth client. Again, we'll go back to API and services. We'll scroll down to, we'll just click on credentials right here. You will be able to see create auth client ID. Just click on it, and then you get to pick from here. Just choose desktop application from here, and then just name it. For me, for example, I've already named it Hermes Desktop, so you can name it as such. And then you'll get like a JSON file that you can download. And then once you download it, just know where it's located and move. And let's move on to the third step. So this is the downloaded JSON file. I just need to know where it's located. And this is your client secret. So we will use this in the next step. Okay, one other thing I forgot to mention before we move on, which is we need to add, you need to add yourself as a test user. So until your app is verified by Google, only pre-approved test users can sign in. And the test user screen is not where it's usually used to be. So we need to navigate to Console Cloud, Auth, Audience. There we go. And in here, so in here you'll find it under Audience. This is where it's currently present. So under Audience, and then you just add users in here. Click on this, and then you just type in the email of the test account, and then you just save it. And just remember to use the account that will authorize the workspace. So basically, this is the email that will be accessed by Hermes. So just make sure that the handle is the same. Okay. So for example, if I want to add my personal email, let's call it Ibrahim at gmail.com. Then I'll have to make sure that this is the email that I'm working with here. This is what I'm authorizing. This is the JSON file for Ibrahim at gmail.com. And this is the JSON that corresponds to it. And then I'll add it here as a test user as well. Okay. So a quick recap, like a super quick recap. Again, this is the email that we will authorize Hermes to access. So your existing emails, like for my case, let's say ibmokdid mokdad at gmail.com, and then I'll just include it in here, go through the whole step for that email. If you want to add more emails, then for each email, you'd have to do the same. But this step is very critical. Under audience, you just add a test user, make sure that it's the same email that you'll be the same handler. Like if it's Ibrahim at gmail.com, I'll just have to make sure that this is Ibrahim at gmail.com. Yeah, this is very important. Don't skip this step, or access will be blocked. And the app will not be verified when you approve and authenticate the workspace for Hermes. So in short, it's like telling Hermes, I own this email and I authorize you to access my email. That's it. Okay, now we have the JSON file. Now we just need to feed it to Hermes. We can use the Google Workspace skill that ships with the setup helper. So to save us typing, we export a shortcut. We call it gsetup, and then we pass it. To the JSON file that we downloaded. This one right here. So this is the command. Export gsetup. This is a shortcut. Skills, productivity, workspace, script, setup, and then we'll use that shortcut and feed it the secret, the JSON file that we just downloaded. So you can edit this to suffice the path that you used, basically the location where the JSON file that we've downloaded from the workspace is. And then so this step just registers the secret with Hermes. There's no auth yet. This is just a registration step. All right, cool. And now for the fifth step, don't use Safari. We're going to skip Safari and then just go use Chrome for it. The reason why we don't use Safari in this case, because Google, when we want to authorize the browser, Google just redirects us to a local host. to deliver the auth code, which Safari silently fails on that redirect, you'll get stuck forever. So we'll just do G setup. We just use the shortcut that we've done, the G setup shortcut, and then we auth, and then URL. That's it. And then this will give us a link that we can open, which opens in that we preferably we open it in Chrome, and then we authorize using our email. It will give us like a redirect, like a blank looking localhost page. If you look at the top, it has like localhost :1 and then the code. So we just need that code. The sample code you'll be able to see is something like this. So you'll get something when you authorize it. When you authorize your email, you get something like this. You get like a localhost :1 and then state, and then you just copy this part here. This is the code that we're looking for. You just copy this part here and then feed it to copy it like this, and then we go back here and then we feed it like so. Of course, you'd have to drop the keyword here, like so, code like this. Or if you want the easy approach, you can ditch all of this and copy the whole URL and just feed the whole thing. You could do the whole thing right here and then go back and just paste it here instead of the code. So this is one way you can do it. You can either supply the code itself without the code equals thing prefix, or you could just paste the whole URL like so. And of course, we'd have to, remove the rest of the part here, and it will do the setup for you. Quick note, by the way, before we proceed, if you're using Z shell, the Z terminal, these commands will unlikely to work. Here's an example. If you go G setup, it will not show you anything. See, not found. That's because the ZH treats this as a single string. So in order for this to work, you'd have to do, you'd have to go like this, and then instead of, you'd go like home, and then now if you use G setup, oh yeah, sorry, you'd have to use, you'd have to use something like G setup, something like this. And that's how it gets done, just like that. So you just need to append the check in here, and then you see that this token has been authenticated. All I'm saying is, if you're using the shell or terminal, you have to treat this differently than what I've shared with the the symbol that we used instead of home. And then you'd have to use the equal sign in brackets, or you can just use the functions like this, like how we used to do in JavaScript. And then when you set up, just do check like so. And that's it. So this is if you're using the Z terminal. If not, then you can just go with what we used to do, the G setup, and then the check flag, just like that. Sorry, the check flag, and then that's how you confirm that you authenticated your workspace. The next step would be, all right, let's clear this one out. Yes, one more point is that after we've authorized, you'll just have to do the same step in 7 days time, or you can publish the application. So this step, it has to be done after 7 days, because Google resets that every 7 days. So you just have to redo the same steps we did a minute ago, which is the G setup, and then auth URL, and then go on from there. Or you can simply just publish the application, and if you do publish this application right here, you don't have to do this anymore. Okay. I think I'll keep this video short. this is how you set up the Google Workspace with Hermes. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to connect Signal. I don't want to make this a lengthy video, so yeah. You know what? Let me just brief on how we can do that. Like the first thing, there are a few tools that you need. Basically, you need two tools. You need to install QR encode and Signal CLI. So you need these two tools, and after you install these tools, you know, the Signal CLI is a Java client that talks to Signal on your behalf, and the QR encode is just it will convert the URL that we get from the terminal into a QR code that we can scan with our phone from Signal. So there is no way to actually connect Signal except using the Signal CLI. And the link command producing a QR pattern in the terminal. Anyway, so this is the unusual step. You know, Signal CLI after you do the installation, and then you just run Signal CLI link. You can do this command right here, link, and then you give it a name of Hermes Agent, and then it produces the QR code, and then you'll get the QR code right here, but make sure this is installed as well. So after you scan the QR code from your phone Signal, that you open up the Signal application, go to settings, link device, link new device, and then you just scan the QR code that you get from here. And this will connect the Hermes Agent to your Signal account. And then the next step would be to run the Signal CLI as a daemon. That way, whenever you restart your computer, it will always load that daemon for you. And that's a very straightforward process that you can do like this. There you go. So the CLI, double dash account, the phone number, the daemon, and then the URL. In my case, I set it to be 90 so that I don't want any other application to have a conflict with this one. So this is how I do it. So this creates a daemon for us, an HTTP daemon. So Hermes will talk to this one, and basically this is your phone number that you plug in, the plus sign, country code, number, no spaces. Okay, you leave this running on your own terminal. Once everything works, we can turn. Once everything is done and no errors, no bugs, we turn this into a background service. We'll show you how. Before I do that, let me show you what you need to do with Hermes. So with Hermes, you need to do gateway, and then setup, and then you choose Signal from the list, and then it will prompt you to enter your phone number and allow phone numbers. Just make sure that you enter your main number so that nobody else will be able to talk to that number, you know, except you. And it will ask you basically four things: the HTTP URL, accept the defaults. You can change from 8080 to 8090, and then enter the phone number similar to what we've done earlier, and then allowed users, put your own number here so that you will be able to talk to, nobody else will be able to talk to it. And then for the group messaging, just say no, unless you need it, of course. So this means that the allowed users is only your number, and the gateway denies everyone by default. Okay. The next step would be just making sure that the gateway runs. So you just do Hermes gateway status, just to make sure that it's running. But before that, you need to do gateway run, and you should see Signal running and the list of processes. So the other final step that I should mention is setting the daemon to auto restart whenever you restart your computer or something like that. So first of all, we need to create a plist. This is the command that you can run. Just make sure that you change your phone number to your actual phone number. And I've already set the port to be 8090. You can set it to whatever. I just set it so because it won't have any conflicts with any applications that I run in my computer. The default you'll usually see is 880, but it don't matter. Like in my case, I just set it to 8090. And then once you cat this one to this path file here, the plist, and then you just go back to the terminal and then you run the command here. And this will automatically set the daemon to run for you whenever you restart your computer. You don't have to restart it every single time. And that's about it. So you managed to set up Signal and the Workspace. Now Hermes has access to your email account and has access to Signal to communicate to you through it. So now you can ask it anything you like and it will reply back. So the next video will explore more about the models you can use with Hermes. The model are basically the brains that gets the action going. So without the brains, you won't get anything going. Like without a proper model, you can't get much going. We'll explore this in the next video. So in the next video, we'll be changing different models just to see how things affect our process and how effective the output is. So now we already have the configuration similar to what I currently have, where I have my Hermes access my email accounts, and it does through the model that I have enabled, is able to go through my emails and just set the necessary just do the necessary classification for me and communicate that information through one single briefing every single morning. And I'll tell you more about how to set Discord in the next videos, and as well as how we will be able to actually set cron jobs in the next set of videos. I don't want to make this any lengthy for you. This might take a little bit of time to set up. So go on and test the Workspace, set it up for yourself, have an email up and running, and be sure to set Signal. Of course, you can set other tools as well, like Discord and stuff. But in this video, I just showed you Signal because it's straightforward. There are two caveats that we talked about: the QR code that you need to scan with your phone, and as well as the daemon and setting it to be in a plist where it should persist restarts. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter, IB Muqdad. See you there. Have a good day.